Welcome to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. And now, your host, Tim Johnson.
Recently surpassing Hollywood, New York, and London, Louisiana has become the #1 destination in the world for the production of major motion pictures. Hundreds of businesses which support the film industry have started up in our state. Among the most successful of these businesses, Hollywood Trucks was recently named by Inc. magazine as one of the fastest growing companies in North America. We'll visit with one of our state's brightest and most successful young entrepreneurs, Hollywood Trucks founder and CEO Andre Champagne, when we return on the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.
The Louisiana Business and Industry Show will be back right after this.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College. Do you want a better life?
Get your associate's degree in occupational studies in information technology from ITI. In 2 years, you'll be on your way to a better life. You will get hands-on specialized training in computers, hardware and software, networking, and more. ITI offers flexible class schedules, and financial aid is available to those who qualify.
So don't wait. Call ITI now or go online. It's that simple.
ITI for a better life.
I'm Leighton Ricks, Livingston Parish, and Livingston Parish is on the move. One of the primary things that we ran on was developing business and jobs in Livingston Parish for our people so that we can bring obviously additional revenue to be able to support our infrastructure needs. We're going to continue to progress here in Livingston Parish. When everybody comes together, these kind of things happen. I mean, what can you say? It's absolutely awesome. It's the perfect place to be. It's where you want to be today, I can guarantee you that.
Hi, I'm Lee Burkeen with Louisiana Football TV Magazine. Be sure to watch our show every week where we have big-time recruits, college coaches, NFL players, current and former players, and call-ins with your questions. Be sure to catch us every Tuesday night at 6:30 live and 10:30 replayed on Cox 4 in Baton Rouge.
Insurance commercials have become unusually funny. We think that's strange because we take auto coverage pretty seriously at Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Of course, when you cover as many vehicles in Louisiana as we do, it doesn't leave a lot of time for silly gimmicks. We're more concerned about what happens to you on the road than any chickens that happen to cross it just to make you chuckle. Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show with Tim Johnson.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. I am very pleased to have joining us today Mr. Andre Champagne, who is the founder and CEO of Hollywood Trucks and Scene Magazine. Andre, welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Listen, you know, it's an interesting industry, and we're going to get into depth about the film industry in Louisiana and the success that we've had. But what led you into a career in the entertainment? I think your story is interesting. So tell us a little bit of how, growing up where you did and what made you decide to get involved.
Well, thanks for the compliment on the interesting story. But I was graduating from LSU 2002, and I was basically raised by my mother and my grandfather, and they were both educators. So they were really adamant about us not really paying much attention to television, but reading books and learning about different, what I now call intellectual properties. Once I found that it was an intellectual property that became what we saw on cameras, television, films, theater, I was fascinated by it. So after graduating, I decided, well, I'm going to give I don't know if you necessarily call I-10 West the road less traveled, but I'm going to give that route a shot and head out to Los Angeles and see if I could really learn the industry and see what was there. I mean, that was basically it. You know, it was just trying something that was not the norm.
So you make your way out to Hollywood, and you're looking around for work, as I understand it, right? And you get hooked up with someone who is in the business side of the film industry.
correct.
Tell us a little bit about that story.
Well, I was really fortunate to be taken under the wing of a very powerful woman in entertainment. So I began with Jane in a capacity of an executive assistant. So when you're an executive assistant working for someone who runs, Jane did manifold duties. She went through every part of budgets, intellectual properties, talent attachment. So I got thrown into it, not knowing anything about, as I mentioned before, first of all, that intellectual property became what we saw on television, but now I'm learning the side of it that many people do not really study, which was the business side, and how the metrics of financing worked, minimum guarantees, talent attachments, all of these things. And so I worked for Jane for multiple years through multiple titles, and got to sit in on every conference call. She just really allowed me to flourish, and I'm still unbelievably thankful for that, because it was an education with it. By the time I was finished a year of working with Jane, I had amassed an education where my friends who were going to establish schools to learn motion picture development and financing, I had amassed the real numbers. So I saw the physical contracts of what someone might be being paid for this particular talent attachment in Germany or France or Italy, and so it was a really eye-opening experience, and I didn't understand the quote the real wealth of the knowledge I was amassing.
So you're working out in Hollywood. I think what happens then is you have an opportunity to come back to Louisiana and work on a film. The incentives for the film industry in Louisiana start to kick in. More movies are being made here. So give us the idea of coming back, working on that film here, and then having the idea that you're going to start this transportation company. How did that take place?
Well, while I was working for Jane, one of the things that we did was we looked at different markets around the world and different programs because we would work on the budgets. So Louisiana had a program in 2002 that was about 10%. But when 2006 passed, it moved to 20%. And that's when it really kind of hit our radar back in California.
And that's the incentive to create movies and produce movies in Louisiana, right? It's a 20% incentive.
At that time. So that's when it became, in a domestic market, that's when it hit our radar. And Jane and I were talking, and it was something where I was going to come down and do some research on it and get an idea of what was going on, and talk to local government and those things, as you do what's called in film a scout or an initial visit. So I came down, and at that time, that was early 2007, and once I got here and saw basically just an unbelievable vanguard market, I just really wanted to be a part of it. And I talked to many of the local lawmakers who were getting excited about the program then and discussing even graduating it up. And that became really exciting to me. So while it was here, there was a particular project that was beginning. The local government asked if I would assist with that project. I worked on the project, and one of the manners in which the program works effectively is when you have infrastructure to actually spend the money in state and utilize the program. So we began producing this film, and infrastructure at that time was really non-existent. So being able to fully utilize the program wasn't something that we were able to do. So while sitting there on this project and having to bring in vehicles from Los Angeles, California, bring in everything, we weren't able to capture the incentive at its best. So I decided to, with another partner, to buy a couple of vans and what we call 2 stake beds and give it a shot, because I knew that no matter what, we needed these assets in state. And if they were in state, I could now employ a local driver. I could license, tag, and register the product here. All of the things that the state would benefit by through the program, I was able to do, and also have a real necessity for something that the industry really needed in state. So that's why it was started, and it started with 7 vehicles in the basement of the Marriott Hotel in Baton Rouge.
and has grown from there. And I want to talk about the growth of Hollywood Trucks and also the launching of Scene Magazine when we come back from the break. We're visiting with Andre Champagne. He is the founder and CEO of Hollywood Trucks and Scene Magazine, and you're watching the Louisiana Business and Industry Show on Cox 4.
The Louisiana Business and Industry Show will be back right after this.
I go to work every day, and I love doing what I'm doing, and I love being a part of Livingston Parish, and to be elected sheriff, to be able to lead Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office is just such an honor for me. And so I'm very excited about not only where we're at today, but where we're going to be at in the future. The parish is so special to the citizens. They work with the Sheriff's Office, they trust the Sheriff's Office. Our community stands behind us 100%, and they get involved. They don't want crime in Livingston Parish.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the Grand Slam hitter to grandparents. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Hello, I'm Eric Edwards with the Livingston Parish Convention and Visitors Bureau. Find out now what's going on in Livingston Parish. We have over 400 nautical miles of waterways. Tee it up at our great world-renowned golf courses. Shop at our antique districts, or come to Bass Pro, our #1 retailer. There's a lot to do in Livingston Parish that you never imagined. It's all happening right here in Livingston Parish. For more information, go online at visitlivingstonparish.com.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the three-point shooter to the three-piece suit. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show with Tim Johnson.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. I'm pleased to be joined by my friend Andre Champagne, who is the founder and CEO of Hollywood Trucks and Scene Magazine, one of our state's bright young entrepreneurs who is doing very, very well in Louisiana's growing film industry. So Andre, we set it up at the beginning. You go out to Hollywood, you graduate from LSU, you go out to Hollywood, you decide that you want to get involved in the industry. You're lucky enough to go to work for a studio executive out there who lets you see the business side of filmmaking. You come back to Louisiana and you're working on a project and you realize that, hey, there's some infrastructure that's needed that's not available here, and you make the business decision with a business partner to go out and buy some vans and rent them back to this film. And Hollywood Trucks was born. So tell us now, from that start, where you've grown to, what the business looks like today, and really what the mission of the organization is.
Well, that's exactly how it started. Really, it was born out of necessity. Opportunity met preparation, and it was one of those things we decided to pull the trigger on. And 7 trucks. We started it, as I mentioned, in the basement of the Marriott because there were no offices at that time, so that's what we were utilizing as a production office. But concurrently, in Baton Rouge, there was a studio development taking place called Celtic. And so I talked to the individuals responsible for that and decided, well, I'm going to open an office there. And so rented a little tiny office and was driving back and forth to that office, working extremely long hours. We set the 7 vehicles out and they continued to stay on rent, so we saw it as a viable model. And we said, well, if 7 works in this metric, maybe 17 or 27 or 70. So sought additional financing. I'm making a long story short, but we had some fantastic business partners come in and back the company. So it evolved in the sophistication of investors inside of it as well. And we were able to go from 2 partners originally with the 7 units to, wow, within the first and second year, we grew the company into approximately 150 units, and then 200 units, 250 units, and so as we sit here now, 2014, we have anywhere from 12 to 15 full-time employees at any given time. Somewhere, gosh, I say somewhere above 300 units because we're growing and buying more and more every day, as we've got about 30 more coming into the company as we speak. Multiple offices, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Shreveport. We're expanding. We've been asked to grow the company into other markets as well, which is a thankful scenario for us, considering we're a Louisiana company really being asked to supply services to an industry that wasn't born here, but has now become, as you mentioned, #1 in the country. So the company has grown across the board. At times, I look up from the desktop and that feeling of seeing one crossing the street, or you see it, it never gets old, and we're really thankful for that. But
now you've expanded now, as you say, to over 300 units, and you have a variety in your fleet, everything from regular transportation vans to haul crew around, I guess, and equipment, all the way up to these very luxurious sort of homes away from home for the talent, for the high-end actors who come in. Tell us a little bit about some of those units and maybe some of the people that you've worked with, some of the actors we might recognize.
Well, through the evolution of the company, we began with vans, but as you mentioned, we carry all the way from Mercedes Sprinter vans to semis, 53-foot wardrobe trailers, talent trailers, which you're referring to. Anything and everything that has wheels to make a motion picture, which is a lot of tangible asset and it's a lot of heavy equipment. But we just launched, well, we're in the process of launching as we speak, with what we view as the most technologically advanced, eco-friendly talent trailer in the world. So we took a step back, and historically these trailers were vehicles that were basically almost, just your standard mobile RV.
Sort of a camper
Right,
thing,
right, absolutely. So we decided to take a step back and really bring it to a different level in our own company. And what we found is that not only the demand for them, but it's been exciting to roll them out, but the demand for them has really been something we were hoping the industry would take note of it. But not only have they taken note, they've really gotten into I can only use the word ferocious warrant for it. So the new product's called EcoLux, and it's we utilize every facet of ecologically friendly technology, from fuels and solar panels to LED lighting to reusable or renewable fabrics, anything you could possibly think of that makes sense from a rental perspective. But gosh, they are asked for in the industry all over the place. Right now, you could go on a couple of different sets. I mean, Fantastic Four has some on order they're about to start shooting in Baton Rouge. We've got Terminator and so many films in New Orleans. The film Get Hard with Will Ferrell, Kevin Hart, all of those guys, that entire film has them across the board. We cannot supply the demand fast enough.
Can't get them built fast enough.
No, actually, I mean, I fly up next week to our manufacturer to see if I can get them get them to send them down to us even more quickly. So again, we're very thankful for that, but we put a lot of time and effort into every conceivable aspect of the unit, from not only from the drivers utilizing them and the local unions, to the talent, which writers, directors, actors, every single person we could discuss from a technological advancement as well as ecologically friendly advancement, we've implemented it in. And I just call that beta 1.0. We're already on beta 2.0 and 3.0.
And it's going to keep going, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a break. We come back. I also want to talk to you about another one of the projects, one of the companies that you started, and that's Scene Magazine. We're visiting with Andre Champagne. He is the founder and CEO of Hollywood Trucks and Scene Magazine, and you're watching the Louisiana Business and Industry Show on Cox 4.
Louisiana Business and Industry Show will be back right after this.
Hi, I'm Lieber Keane with Louisiana Football TV Magazine. Be sure to watch our show every week. We have big-time recruits, college coaches, NFL players, current and former players, and call-ins with your questions. Be sure to catch us every Tuesday night at 6:30 live and 10:30 replayed on Cox 4 in Baton Rouge.
Hello, I'm Eric Edwards with the Livingston Parish Convention and Visitors Bureau. Find out now what's going on in Livingston Parish. We have over 400 nautical miles of waterways. Tee it up at our great world-renowned golf courses. Shop at our antique districts, or come to Bass Pro, our #1 retailer. There's a lot to do in Livingston Parish that you never imagined. It's all happening right here in Livingston Parish. For more information, go online at visitlivingstonparish.com.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College. Do you want a better life?
Get your associate's degree in occupational studies in information technology from ITI. In 2 years, you'll be on your way to a better life. You will get hands-on specialized training in computers, hardware and software, networking, and more. ITI offers flexible class schedules, and financial aid is available to those who qualify.
So don't wait. Call ITI now or go online. It's that simple.
ITI for a better life.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the soccer star to the soccer mom. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Insurance commercials have become unusually funny. We think that's strange because we take auto coverage pretty seriously at Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Of course, when you cover as many vehicles in Louisiana as we do, it doesn't leave a lot of time for silly gimmicks. We're more concerned about what happens to you on the road than any chickens that happen to cross it just to make you chuckle. Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from long drivers to unlucky drivers. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show with Tim Johnson.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. We're visiting with Andre Champagne. He is the founder and CEO of Hollywood Trucks and Scene magazine. Andre, we've talked about Hollywood Trucks and the growth and the success that you've had. I mentioned in the open of the show, Inc. magazine named it one of the fastest growing companies in America. I think some other publication said you are the fastest growing high-end entertainment transportation company in the world. But it's all because of what the state of Louisiana decided to do some 10 years or so ago, and that is to create an incentive package that would entice these major motion pictures to come to Louisiana and be filmed and produced here. And you said something to me during the break, is that Louisiana really got it right.
They did.
Talk about that program, the fact that Louisiana is now the #1 destination in the world for the production of major motion pictures.
Well, you're correct, Tim. The government, they got it right. I mean, if I could high five every legislator and tell them thank you, you've done a phenomenal job on this program. We've fine-tuned it over the years. It's not only functional, it's unbelievably successful. When you can take something that's only been literally in place for a couple of years and it becomes #1 in the world in its sector, that's a great accolade to those lawmakers that have put something in place that the direct result of my company, it's paralleled growth. We are just responding to what the market is with this program. Economic development is at its best with this program, and we're a factor of it. We're a metric of showing what's occurred with that.
You know, we talk often in the petrochemical business about downstream processing, that we want to bring more of the downstream processing to Louisiana, and that's exactly what the film industry does.
Right.
Hollywood Trucks is a support industry for that. It's more like a downstream processing, and you guys have done great work. And I guess our message to the legislators is, don't mess up a good thing, right? Keep it going.
It's fantastic. It's working unbelievably well. It's ultra successful, and it's easy to utilize, and the economic development from it is just unprecedented. I see it every day. I hear stories every day, and they're so encouraging and enthusiastic, with young individuals wanting to stay in the state. And at the end of the day, that's when you know the state's winning, when our young individuals graduating from college want to stay here and they become long-term taxpayers.
And can stay here. And Andre Champagne was lucky enough to be able to come back. Now, you mentioned young entrepreneurs. And I asked you this question when you were on our radio show a couple of weeks ago, and I was fascinated by your answer. And so I want to ask you again because I want our television viewers to hear what you had to say. I asked you what you've learned about yourself and what advice you would give to other young entrepreneurs. Tell us what you said.
Protect your enthusiasm. I was raised in a manner to go out, I guess you would say, where a formal education was important, but self-education, you know, formal education will earn you a living, but self-education will earn you a fortune.
Right.
So I always had to look internally in the mirror and say, I need to keep my excitement. I need to protect my enthusiasm. And anytime I talk to young entrepreneurs who are trying to start something, everyone likes to go the safe route. But that road less traveled at times will lead you to places that, and whatever your definition of success is, or wealth or prosperity or any of those things, it'll lead you to a place that the road traveled all the time doesn't necessarily do, or everyone is there. So I would say protect your enthusiasm, continue to believe. You're gonna hear no all the time, it doesn't matter. Make no your best friend.
One other thing that you've gotten into, I think that's a fascinating answer and a wonderful answer. One other thing you've gotten into is Scene Magazine. You're also the founder and CEO of that organization. Right. Give us about 30 seconds because we only have about a minute left. So tell us in about 30 seconds about Scene Magazine.
Scene Magazine was a direct vertical result of the industry. Again, we had an unbelievable market here. We decided someone needs to cover it. I actually invented the magazine so I could advertise my own company.
How about that?
And it's grown from 50 pages and 5,000 copies to now we print 95 pages, 25,000 hard copies, and again, a direct parallel to the growth of our industry and what our government has done right through economic development incentives.
Once again, necessity being the mother of invention. 15 seconds, what's on the horizon for Hollywood Trucks and Scene Magazine?
Well, Hollywood Trucks is growing every day, as we mentioned. We are looking at multiple states in the domestic market as well as international markets now. Scene Magazine is growing into brand new states as well, and multimedia platforms that we're about to launch that you'll see coming up. I will get back to also producing motion pictures, which is my love and where I came from anyway, and all of those particular companies all benefit from that as well as the state. So that's on the daily agenda.
Well, listen, it's a fascinating story. It's been fun to watch so far. I've enjoyed having you on both the radio and now the television show. Andre Champagne, congratulations on all your success, man.
Thank you.
That's a wrap, guys. Join us again next time, next week at this very same time for another edition of the Louisiana Business and Industry Show on Cox 4.